guys, welcome back to another episode of PHT TV. I'm Jason.
I'm Trey.
And today we're going to cover the RF7s versus the Fortes. Last week we did the Heresys versus the Fortes, so if you haven't seen that, make sure you check it out.
Thank you for leaving that set up. It made setting things up today easier.
I even left my picture down for you, even though it drives me nuts. I guess we don't need it as much this time, though, with the Fortes being a little higher up.
Yeah, it's probably not as important.
So, but we'll see. So, same thing as last time. We do have the NAD T778 receiver going into the QSC ABX switcher, powering these units equally with no variance between them. So everything's identical going to the speakers. Yep, there is a, what did we say? The RF7s are 100 dB?
100 dB.
And the Forte, or the Heresys were 99. Are the Fortes 99 as well?
I haven't looked at the specs close enough on the new one to know. I've listened to them more than I've seen the numbers.
99. So they're the same as the Heresys.
Same as the Heresys.
The other things that we are running similar to last week, everything's same as last week, but the difference between this series and when we did, say, the 8000s versus this RF7s, we did add the SPL meter. So again, that is for visual aid purposes. It has not been calibrated. It has not been anything. It's just to give you an idea of what we're hearing in studio here, as opposed to, I can make adjustments all day in the video editing software, so you can never really tell exactly what our levels are. So we've added that as an extra little piece there. Other than that,
It's a good piece of data.
Ready to get to rocking.
Yeah, let's do something.
Now, where do you want to start today?
Play something loud, wake me up.
Let's see. You wanna go out the gates with Draekon this time?
Sure.
All right. This is gonna be Draekon, the value of all.
For those people that want volume, go get an RF7 and a BFA. That stands for big amp. Yeah. As you cranked up the sevens, they started to come alive. Mm-hmm. The bass response, surprisingly, was really close on the two. Mm-hmm. The mid-range and top end on the Forte was a lot more in your face.
Low volumes,
I could understand
like
the
Forte
vocals.
took it.
Yeah. At higher volumes, the RF7s took it, and I could understand his vocals better in the RF7. Mm-hmm. Which is interesting because I love the horn on the Forte, the mid-range horn. his vocals, upper vocals were kind of bright in the Forte for me.
That's a bright song all around.
It is. RF7's kind of pulled it back enough that it made it more pleasing. But I found myself listening to the song again, not listening to this music,
We run into that problem a little bit every once in a while.
Yeah, I like this music.
I have to take over the remote from Trey because he forgets to change it.
I've kept my hand in my pocket so far. I'm letting you do it.
So that was some pretty heavy stuff. Let's go back to something a little bit more calm. You know what we did not do last time? We didn't do the Two Kinds of Pie track.
We hadn't listened to that in a while.
No, it's been a while. Let's give that one a try.
Was it Houdini with it?
Can't remember if it was Houdini or Bitter Custody Dispute.
Houdini. Bitter Custody Dispute's kind of that quirky.
That's the one that Roy did the test on the
Jubes.
Jubes. Yeah.
Was the Bitter?
Yeah, Bitter Custody Dispute
we'll do that
is what
one.
I heard on the Jubes.
Maybe I'm not remembering.
This is Bitter Custody Dispute by Two Kinds of Pie. Two Kinds of Pie, Bitter Custody Dispute.
Interesting. I had forgotten that cut.
It's been a while.
I think the Fortes took that one.
They both had their perks.
They did, but I think the bottom end in the Forte was just massive.
It was.
The efficiency of that passive radiator and that multi-layer magnet on that woofer is very well seen in that cut on that speaker.
Now, when they did the harmonizing, I felt like the RF7s took it.
I agree.
It was a little bit separate, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, you could detail between them a little better.
Yeah, it didn't harmonize as well in the Fortes, but
it could have been a lot of our
could have been the recording,
and the room. It does have its limitations. Mm-hmm. So this is a small room.
As does any room.
Yeah. But it's a small room. Yeah. And these are acoustically some pretty big ass speakers.
All right, let's
physically too, I guess.
You want to go to Matt Sommers next? We're talking about the bass response.
The bass response. That's going to be another one that'll show that off.
Do you want to go back to Hot Potato or you want to go Mycelium?
No, I like the Mycelium cut because of the layers.
All right, this is Matt Sommers, Mycelium. you can feel the Fortes.
I was ready a few seconds in.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of chance there.
That song is a bottom end song.
Yeah, and man, you talking about that bass guitar stand out proud. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about the bottom end of the bass. I'm talking about the top end of the bass. That plucky, clicky, poppy sound that you get from that bass when he's playing from the pick. Mm-hmm. It's like, sounds like the guitar amps right there.
Yeah, that one, the Fortes took it. Fortes took it pretty hard there. Now, again, coming back to your story though, if we had a different amp, if we were pushing those RF7s, if we had a different goal.
Yeah.
Well, if we weren't sitting right in front of them in a smaller environment, I think the RF7s could pull that through pretty hard too.
Well, you know, we've got RF7s at the house, and I'm familiar enough with them to know that when you really want to open something up, get some volume going, those puppies just love it.
What are you pushing the RF7s with at home? Is that the Crown?
I've had a Crown on it. I've had an Onkyo receiver on it. Let's see, what else? Yeah, 2 separate Crown amps and an Onkyo receiver. And when it was just night and day between the receiver and the Crown. Just night and day of the output of that speaker.
I bet. Do you
current capabilities?
Do you bi-amp them and level out your low frequencies?
Not at all. No, bi-amping's a waste of time. Unless you're using what I call a horizontal bi-amp, meaning you do the HF on channel 1 and LF on channel 2.
That's what I...
Right? Yeah. So you had 2 amplifiers, exactly the same amps, running both speakers, and a equal channel running the top and the bottom. Then you're as close as you can get to the 1-channel output of that amplifier, which is what that speaker expects to see on both input leads. You're just doubling your power. So there's nothing wrong with that. When you start running an amplifier that has a different gain structure on the HF versus the LF, you have changed the balance of the speaker, which is why you bought the damn thing in the first place, is because the HF and LF balance to give you that particular sound. When you change that balance, you have changed the DNA and sound of that speaker. Period. And I'm not trying to say it doesn't make people happy. That's not the point. The acoustics of it changes. And that's what you don't want from a manufacturer standpoint, is you don't want the acoustics to change. You want them to be what you expect them to be when you turn it loose.
Yeah.
That's why a manufacturer has a golden standard. Mm-hmm. And all the speakers that or that model have to match that golden standard's curve signature. And when you hook up 2 separate amps with 2 different gains, you cannot match that curve signature any longer.
And that's Trey's thoughts on bi-amping. I don't even want to step down the bi-wiring route because I know where that's going to lead us. But yeah, anyways, what do you want to do next?
Well, we've kind of rocked on it. Let's chill out a little bit and do some country cuts.
Let's see.
You've got Jason Helms and you've got Trey Johnson.
All right, well, this is Jason Helms, My Kind of Woman.
And a faded pair of jeans, and I can't believe that she's with me. She's my kind of woman. She works all day long, still comes home with a big old smile, even though she knows her work is never done. She's first days to watch me play in some old honky-tonk, singing along with every song. She's that kind of woman. We all want one, a mother and a lover and my best friend. A woman's a woman, one hot mama. She's a dream that I can't wait to dream again. She's my kind of woman.
That was Jason Helms' band, My Kind of Woman, and this is a hard comparison.
Not that hard for me.
Yeah?
I think the Fortes took it on everything except for it's a little bright and brittle in that upper mid-range where I like that Forte on his voice. I mean, the Forte on the RF7 on his voice a little bit better.
That's what I was going to say. The
But
RF7.
everything else the Forte did.
I like the RF7 on the voice, and it was kind of one of those, another one where I know it was a studio recording, but it still sounded more studio in the RF7s.
Right.
And because it's a studio recording, I felt like it naturally should be a studio sounding, so that's kind of why I was leaning more towards the RF7s, but the voice is the main factor.
Yeah,
Forte's all around for you?
no, both have their important bits placed to play, right? If you were doing fit and finish and you wanted one over the other, that's an easy comparison. You wouldn't hurt yourself either way. You pick one that fits your room aesthetically and take off, because you're not going to give up much in either way. But I think the Forte tends to sound a little more live, whereas, as we said before, the RF7 seems to sound a little more studio recorded. I tell you what, too, I get the feeling that the RF7 has quite a bit more horsepower left over the Forte. You know, before it starts getting too in your face, too broken, too much to want to, you know, be in front of it.
All right, so that was Jason Helms' band. You want to keep it country and move on to Trey?
Let's do the Trey Johnson cut. I always like to stomp my foot to Trey.
All right, so this is Trey Johnson, Bring My Baby Home.
Worries and troubles all weighed me down. Burden so heavy, help can't be found. Broken down heart, I'm lost and alone. Somebody bring my baby back home. Said somebody please, somebody please. I'm on my knees, honey, won't you come on home? 'Cause this heartache here ain't leaving soon. Drowning till midnight noon. Breaking down, I'm holding on. Somebody bring my good girl home. Said somebody please, somebody please. Y'all, I'm on my knees, honey, won't you come on home? You know the shape I'm in, y'all sad to see. Where she been, it don't matter to me. What in the world I did so wrong? Somebody bring my baby back home. Said somebody please, somebody please. Y'all, I'm on my knees, honey, won't you come on home? Come on, man. I said you come home for some fight. Living is wrong, I'll make it alright. I can't do it on here alone. Somebody bring that girl back home. Said somebody please, somebody please. Y'all, I'm on my knees, honey, come on home. Come on. I said come on back. I need the girl. Walk your bicycle back through that door. I said I'm on my knees, honey, won't you come back home? Yeah. How's that?
Interesting.
RF7s versus the Fortes. Man, both amazing speakers, but what do you think for the victory? For the win?
It's a toss-up when it comes down to it. Just, again, back to fit and finish between the two. Which one do you like the footprint of and the look in your room? I don't think you'd be disappointed either way.
Not really, especially when you're not listening to them side by side like we are.
It's just not fair.
You wouldn't notice what you're missing otherwise.
Yeah, or what you've got that you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
You know, so the RF. I agree completely with what you said. The sevens sound a little more controlled or studio environment, whereas the Forte sound a little more live room. That's really the way it represents itself. SPL's about the same, which is weird because the Heresy was the same output, but even sound louder.
Yeah.
And the bottom end was great on both of them. The Fortes really shined on the bottom end in this room compared to that RF7. Not that the RF7 was lacking much. It's just that bass guitar just beats you to death, that Forte in this room.
It slaps pretty hard.
You know, I guess my overall is kind of leaning towards the Forte completely. The both have their right spot, you know. We have RF7s at the house, so you know it's not like I don't like them. It's just that, man, I think I like that Forte in this situation a little better.
Just a little bit. And you tend to lean more towards heritage on most things.
I do, and I always have, simply because that's what I have at home. It's what I listen to every day. I'm akin to it, and nothing against the guys that did the reference stuff at all. Not at all.
No, it's a monster. It's definitely a monster. But if personal preference, I think I'm leaning towards the Fortes as well. So as always, though, don't take our word for it. Go listen to these guys in person. See what you think for yourself.
You have to take our point of view with a grain of salt. Please don't listen to it on the channel and think that you're hearing a difference. You may hear something different, but you're not hearing the difference.
Yeah, go hear them in person.
Go hear them in person.
This is a starting point. This is a jump off point for you. So take our opinions, take what you hear us say, and then go listen to them in person and judge for yourself as well.
If you need a place to do that, you can reach out to the guys at Paducah Home Theater in Kentucky and Paducah, Kentucky. They can set you up a time to come listen and hear these things individually and really in a home environment and get a good feel of what they're going to do when you get them home.
Exactly. But I mean, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to leave a comment below and we'd be happy to help. Next week, we've got the RF7s versus the Cornwalls, two of my favorite speakers that we have here. Then after that, we have RF7s versus RF7s. Trey's going to bring over his set of RF7IIs.
The wife's set of RF7IIs. I always put that in there to keep myself out of trouble.
I think that's going to be about it for the Fortes versus RF7s. I'm excited for the Cornwalls next week and for the RF7s afterwards.
We got a lot of speakers in front of this room. It's almost as bad as the Cornwalls versus the Scalas.
If you guys have any questions, leave a comment below. Until next time, though, I'm Jason.
And I'm Trey.
We'll see you again next week for another episode of PHT TV. Oops.
Okay, Trey. Jason Helms.
Stop. I am fighting my computer.
Cull the volume a little bit, too.
Yeah, a little bit. Come on. All right, well, this is Jason Helms, My Kind of Woman.
You're causing yourself editing problems.
I'm fighting my computer. All right, so this is going to be Jason Helms, My Kind of Woman.
What are you doing over there?
Until next time, though, I'm Jason.
I'm Trey.
We'll see you again next week for another
Thanks for
episode
hanging
of
out.
PHT TV.
Talked all over you. You want to do that again?
Especially on the... You want to do that again on the way up?